What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck, and today I want to dive into a hot topic discussion. And a lot of Cowboys fans are asking me this online. It's like, yo, Tuck, what is going on with our number 2 wide receiver in Brandin Cooks? Now, I'm going to give y'all the answer out the gate early, right? As of right now, he's just not being featured in our offense. If you look at it in totality, he's only had 15 targets. He has 8 receptions and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, he's ran over 108 routes. I mean, we threw damn near 50 times last game, and he only had about 6 targets. So I feel like Brandin Cooks just isn't being featured. But I wanted to go to the film, kind of explain, is there something that defenses are doing to take Brandin Cooks away? Or is it more about a Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott offensive scheme thing? Now, I'll say this. I am disappointed because I expected Brandin Cooks to hit the ground running when it comes to our offense, because we saw it happen last year, especially at the end of the season last year, and he was there all of camp. So he's had numerous reps with Dak in this offense. This shouldn't be a staggering delay to get Brandin Cooks involved, but for some reason it is. So let's go ahead and get into the film. So on the very first play, you have him lined up top. Now, it is 1st and 10. And the thing that I like about this, and I think that we have to do this more, just not with Brandin Cooks, but with the offense totally, right, is that we got to take more shots downfield. Right now, we're doing the kind of horizontal West Coast, Tex Coast stuff. It scares nobody. We need to attack more downfield. But you have Brandin Cooks manned up out here on the outside. And he does a good job coming off the line of scrimmage with this release. He's going to sell this outside release right there, right? So he plants, and he makes the corner believe that he's going to go outside. Boom, the hips are open. He takes the inside release, right? And this should have been an opportunity, right? Because Dak Prescott, what Dak Prescott is watching, he's watching his safeties, right? So right now you have middle field open, so you have 2 safeties over the top. So he's watching the safety, but the safety is going to hold a little bit. The safety is going to hold, and you see he's going to come over this way towards Jake Ferguson, I believe. So that's going to indicate to Dak, okay, boom, the safety is moving. I have one-on-one up top. I'm going to take my shot. And the shot is there. But what happens on this play as Dak Prescott is holding this safety with his eyes? You'll see Brandin Cooks has the release. And this little right there, this little stoppage right there. So I'm not sure if Brandin Cooks thought, he wasn't going to be involved in the play, but that slight little stutter step that Brandin Cooks has is the reason why he just couldn't get to the ball to make a catch, right? So, the Cowboys, you're talking a lot about details. It's the details. So I'm not sure, what happened on this play right here, but you'll see him. He's in stride. He looks, he peeks, he looks over his back shoulder, he stops, he's peeking, like, where's the ball going, bro? It's coming to you. Like, oh, crap, it's coming to me, right? And then he tries to hit the gear. Well, those little details causes an incompletion, and I think that's going to be a big shot play on 1st down to Brandin Cooks, but I would like to see us attack downfield more. On this play, right, it's really 3rd and 15. So, when you look at Brandin Cooks's routes that he's running, a lot of it is stop routes. And for me personally, I think Brandin Cooks is a guy that you want to get the ball in motion. So run a lot of crossers, run a lot of drags, those mesh concepts like hitch routes. That's not really his things, right? So you'll see that it's 3rd and 15. The Ravens are pretty much saying we're going to give you anything in front of the sticks. The sticks is right there, right? So I think this is Kyle Hamilton. He's going to open up in the zone. And even with that, right, Brandin Cooks is able to come on this hitch and still make a play, right? Possibly, but Kyle Hamilton's able to combat and combat the ball and slap it down, right, and defend the ball. Now, one thing I will say, it's 3rd and 15, Cooks, right? This is the stick. So even if you were to catch this ball, you're still short. Now, let's keep it a buck, right? Let's keep it a buck. This is what the slow-mo comes for. Hands around the waist right there, right? But it's the Dallas Cowboys. Who cares? They're not going to show us no pity. But for me personally, I would like to see Brandin Cooks run this route beyond the sticks and you come forward, right, towards the sticks, because even if you got stopped right here, okay, congrats, bro, you caught it, but you're still 2 yards short, right? But for me personally, I don't like a lot of hitch routes for Brandin Cooks. Now, I get it, right? The zones, they're pretty much running, keeping everything in front. But I think that Brandin Cooks is a space guy. Right now, he only has like 7 yards a yak total, which is low for him, right? Because people remember he's a 1,000-yard wide receiver, so he's a guy that you really want to get out in space. On this play right here, it's 1st and 10. And once again, y'all tell me the route that he runs. Now, it's pretty much like a cover 3, right? Because you'll see this safety's going to come down and this safety's going to drop to the middle field to kind of close that off, right? So you have the outside, and they're going to typically in cover 3s, right? You want to do hitches and comebacks. So, good job on this route. You'll see the corner actually slide and fall. But you have to pick your spots, right? Now, I'll say this from Dak's standpoint, little high because he had to jump for it. Maybe if you hit him right in the numbers and he didn't have to jump, he can turn up field and make a play after the safe or this corner slips and falls. But overall, I get it, right? You see the hitches with Brandin Cooks, the comeback routes, the stop routes, the spot routes. But I also want to see them pressing downfield a lot more. And if I had to gauge it, y'all, I would say Thursday night, we're going to see Brandin Cooks involved a lot more into our offense. Now, you look on this play right here. So you come off and you're going to run this over route. And this play doesn't go to Brandin Cooks necessarily. So coming back up top, he's the number 3 receiver. He is the inside guy right here. It's the number 3 up top. You're going to have trips right. So Brandin Cooks is going to run this kind of a deep over route. And these are the routes that I wanted to see more for Brandin Cooks, right? So even though it doesn't go his way, you take a shot to Jalen Tolbert, I think that if you're able to get more of these routes lined up for Brandin Cooks, you can take advantage. Now, this is where some of the Twitter mice and YouTube mice, Instagram mice will say, well, Dak should have just hit Brandin Cooks. He was wide open. Well, necessarily. But once again, you guys have to understand how quarterbacks go through their progressions. It's not as simple as Madden where you can just press A and press B, right? So think about this, right? So now you have middle field close. You have this safety at the top of the screen, right? Dak is lined up. And so what Dak knows is he has one-on-one on the outside right here. So if this safety holds, well, then I'm going to take my shot, and rightfully so. So what happens with this safety? He's holding, he's shaded more towards the trip side. So you have one-on-one on the backside. Take the shot. I'm not really mad at Dak. It's first down, it's 1st and 10, right? Maybe you could have hit Ferguson. Maybe he could have hit Brandin Cooks, but you want to give your wide receivers opportunity to make one-on-one plays. So I know a lot of people are criticizing Dak, like, why would he take this shot, right? Bro, this is what you're supposed to do, right? He's going towards the trip side. You have one-on-one on the backside. If you're playing Madden, I'm still taking that shot, right? So I necessarily won't say this one's on Dak. There's a few others that might be slightly, but that's a shot that Dak has to take. On this play right here, same philosophy, right? Same philosophy, trusting your wide receivers and taking the proper shots. Now, here we are on the 20-yard line. Okay, boom. You're going to have Brandin Cooks once again. Good job, outside release. And so what Dak is doing, he's holding that safety, watching this safety. Okay, if this safety comes over here, then maybe I get backside and get up to Jake Ferguson as I'm going through my progression. So he's watching that safety. So right now he knows this safety has a lot of ground to cover on this one-on-one with Brandin Cooks. So he's already going to take his shot. Before Brandin Cooks even releases off the line of scrimmage, pretty much, Dak has decided, okay, I got one-on-one to my guy. I am going to run this go route, this fade, and let my wide receiver go make a play on it. And does a good job. It's right there on the money. It's just does he have the other hand free, and Brandin Cooks comes down with the drop, right? So, like I said, Dak took the shots, and we have to continue to do this. Now, I know there's a conversation piece where, hey, Brandin Cooks is 30 years old. He's an older wide receiver. He doesn't scare. Yeah, I get that part. I would have loved for this to be Brian Thomas Jr. or Xavier Worthy or Kenyon Coleman. It just ain't is what it is, right? So, but as of right now, that's the proper read, right? Because honestly, I saw people were like, oh, well, he had Jake Ferguson wide open. Well, it's too late, bro. The ball's already gone by the time that Jake Ferguson stems on that route. So you have the one-on-one on the outside. You have your wide receiver. You trust your wide receiver who's been a pro in the league for so many years. Brandin Cooks just doesn't come down with the ball, and it's a unfortunate situation. So he's got to make those plays right there. Right on this play right here, you have Brandin Cooks lined up. Boom, number 2 receiver up top. And this is a good job on this spot route. So what you're going to have is, I believe this is Kyle Hamilton, right? Watch Kyle Hamilton, who was phenomenal. It was great to see Kyle Hamilton in person. That's pretty much the reason why I went to this game. But he's going to watch Dak. Okay, now he's going to play the cat and mouse game. Okay, now he might come. No, actually, I'm going to drop off into this flat. So once again, conceptual football. Watch what Dak is doing. Oops, let me do this. What did I just do? Let me get that right. All right, boom. Dak is reading the safeties right here and reading the zone, right? So if Kyle Hamilton was to stick on Brandin Cooks, then more than likely he's probably going to take the route on Tolbert, I believe, but not. Brandin Cooks does a good job sitting right there on the spot route in the zone. And here's how I tell people how to simply read progressions, right? The hitches of the quarterback is typically tied to the route. So you'll see Dak, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3, hitch right there. That's tied to his first route, right, which is Brandin Cooks. If he wanted to go to Jalen Tolbert, he would probably have to re-hitch, right? So he's tied up, and that's what Dak started talking about, being in sync with his wide receivers, right? So good read, good route. But like I said, we threw the ball 51 times, only 6 targets for Brandin Cooks. It's not enough because teams know that we are going to attack with CeeDee Lamb and also Jake Ferguson. You got to get number 3 involved on this play right here. This is one that you'll probably see that you say, okay, well, Brandin Cooks was wide open. Okay, boom, let's do it, right? So what is Dak reading right now? You have the safety up top, and it's typically you're just going to have seams, right? So you're going to have seams with Jake Ferguson, also with Brandin Cooks, right? So you'll see that this safety comes towards Brandin Cooks. So we know that's out the play. Now you have one-on-one because the safety is going to come towards this trip side here, right? Because you have the numbers 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm going to come over here and help. So boom, he's going to come this way. So if he comes this way, which he does, now you have Jake Ferguson. And what's going to happen with this linebacker, you see the back of this linebacker's numbers. You can see his nameplate. All right, so I'm going to throw this. So then that way my tight end, Jake Ferguson, who played phenomenal, can come back and make a play on the ball, right? Now, if this safety, let's say he held over here, then yeah, maybe you would probably run this to Brandin Cooks' side. But I think that once the safety came over here, you already know, release it, I'm taking my shot. So, overall, I know there's the chart floating around about separation with Brandin Cooks and other wide receivers, and that's why he's not getting involved. I just think it's just not a focal point in our offense. And Mike McCarthy did this last year. I think I made the same video last year. You probably can go look through the archives, right? You have to get Brandin Cooks more targets because it opens up this guy up here, but also Jalen Tolbert. If he is going to be your number 2 wide receiver, you need to treat him as such, because if not, everybody's just going to focus on 88, and it's going to make it a long day for this Dallas Cowboys offensive passing game, man. So it's your boy J Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. Got more film sessions coming down from the Ravens game, but it's a short week. We got to get on to New York, but you do not want to miss out. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and get the arch of the ball a little bit more, Mike McCarthy. Peace.